Hey Dumblies, it's Dave Decide. Today I want to get into a death date that was posted of V and Jungkook on a TV station and ARMY's response. I also want to get into a clip that was released by HYBE of V that was shocking. So, hater or not, make sure you subscribe with the notification bell on, grab your dumpling, a tea spilling mug merch, and let's get into it. The first thing that we need to talk about is some of the recent clips. BTS released their Sowoozoo DVD for 2021. So if you're new to ARMY and unaware, BTS or the HYBE team like to release these behind the scenes DVDs. Depending on the time of the year, they're called something different, I believe. So they have their Festa and other things that are probably slipping my mind right now. But they're all about the same. The HYBE team has a camera team that follows BTS and they record lots of extra footage, and the stuff that doesn't make it to the official BTS channel goes right into the DVD. So some of the more attention-grabbing moments they'll go ahead and put on YouTube, but if you want more chill and more fan-based stuff, then you'll have to buy the DVDs. So more things like Taeyang and Jungkook interaction moments, or just them lounging around backstage. Similar to BTS's series In the Soup, where the members kind of chill and hang out, and basically if you're not an ARMY, series like In the Soup or whatever's on the DVDs are not going to be interesting to you. If you would like to watch and react to In the Soup with me season 1 and 2, it's on my Patreon. There's a full playlist on there, a link down below to sign up. So when HYBE released their new Sowoozoo behind the scenes DVD, the internet crashed basically. Jungkook was a standout person that was trending. I mean, he is usually trending, so when he does anything, there's just an additional thing to trend and talk about. But this was definitely appropriate, I'd say. So there was a scene during the online concert BTS did for us last year. The camera team was following BTS backstage, and there was a moment where Jungkook removed his sweater. He was wearing a sweater with a lot of holes and stuff, so we got a good view of his tattoos from that, but we still hadn't seen it bare and fully. When he removed his sweater, they literally showed the whole bicep and the top part of his arm. Like, you can fully see the arm tattoo. Now, this is interesting. When I saw this, I was immediately like, that doesn't look right. Like, it looks too bare. There's still a lot of skin showing. But it seems like if you watch the newer seasons of In the Soup or the newer concert, you'll be able to see that Jungkook added a lot more tattoos and his arm is fully covered now. But I mean, even at this earlier stage of his tattoo transformation, we still hadn't seen what those tattoos look like. I'm just surprised how empty it looks. Like, I had never seen his arm like that, yet for some reason it didn't look right to me. Oh no, wait, I am the husband. Of course I've seen it. His arm is full of tattoos now, I can confirm. There was another clip that threw ARMY into a frenzy. I mean, if you thought my husband's biceps were crazy, wait until you hear about my other husband, Taeyang. There was a clip where I think maybe the staff washed his hair or whatever and he was drying it off and he was shirtless. I think what was most shocking was that there weren't any stickers or anything like that. Usually what HYBE will do is place a BT21 sticker or BTS faces on the more sensitive parts. So they'll do it usually with Jungkook's tattoos or if the boys show any bare skin. I mean, I believe they've done it before even when the boys would wear a shirt that shows a bit too much collar. So it was quite shocking to see that we could see Taeyang's full shoulders and lower shoulders and even bare arms here. I mean, this is like an intimate moment. How many ARMYs got pregnant? I think that's how the Virgin Mary got pregnant with Jesus, from watching Taeyang. But what do you think about this? Did you go crazy when you saw Jungkook's tattoos and Taeyang shirtless? Now, Jungkook and Taeyang weren't only trending and being talked about over this. There was a lot going on this morning. I'm going to give a trigger warning because all of the news sites kind of did, but I'm not entirely sure why they did. But we're talking about death. This was interesting to wake up to. ARMYs and netizens being quite upset at something that aired on TV. So if you don't know, there is this K-drama called Tomorrow. The show is fiction and it's very fiction. It revolves around characters that are Grim Reapers or like spirits, and this is kind of important to note. During one of the episodes, one of the characters is going through a log, a death log, and kind of highlighting the names and dates of someone who had died. And there's a few people on that log. People allegedly noticed that V's name and birthday appeared in that log, and then only Jungkook's birthday appeared. This got ARMYs outraged. Like, they were writing very angry comments and notes to the station and show, because if it's a show about death and a show about these dark things like Grim Reaper, to put a real celebrity or person into that scene, to the audience, I can see why they're upset. It almost feels like manifestation, right? And this is how the netizens took it as. I'll tell you how I feel in a second. So everyone was very upset. The representatives for the show did come out and say that it was a pure coincidence, and I can understand that. And if they say that, I trust that it is. My opinion is it's just a show. It's not really attacking the boys or really hurting them in any way. This doesn't hurt their career or really disrespect them. Likely, if a show uses anyone's names, they do have the celebrity's permission, but also it's an honor to be featured in a show in any capacity. Again, if that was actually their intention, which they denied. But even if BTS was actually featured, it's great to see BTS be featured in anything and to be a part of that piece of art. Jungkook may never be in a drama just because he may not want to, but this is still a cool way for him to enter the space without having him do anything. People were saying things like cut out the scene, reshoot it, or even what they could do to stop the backlash is what Netflix did with Squid Game. Squid Game accidentally leaked someone's real phone number, so they just went into the video and edited the number out. They could totally do this with this scene, and it's fine. Some armies were using RM's response to reply to this situation. RM had talked previously in a V Live how armies should not respond to hate and ignore the hater. This of course gets a lot of armies because they want to respond, but it also goes to show even if you do believe it's hate, it's good to ignore it and just move on as the boys are not hurt by it. But I think a lot of people were upset because of the network already. If you aren't aware, MBC is quite controversial among the army fandom, and so some armies believe that this was for MBC's way to get back at the fandom or the artist, but that doesn't make any sense because I don't see why MBC has an issue with BTS. Also, the creators of the drama, while it aired on MBC, are not the same team as MBC, I don't think, so it's weird to blame the network instead of, let's say, the writers or whoever came up with the scene. Although they did get backlash too, it seemed most of the backlash fell on the network. For instance, when MBC approves the drama before airing it on TV, the last thing they're looking at is a scene where you see people's names and birthdays. They may not even know BTS members' birthdays by heart. So even if they see the birthday, there's no reason why they would Google it to make sure it wasn't BTS. They just assume it's fine because they have many shows to watch and then approve of them. Small details like that often make it through because they're human reviewing it. This is also a bigger issue that happened a little while ago and also added gasoline to the fire. MBC has an award show they do, and in 2019, BTS was busy with their American stuff that they didn't have time to attend that award show. They were doing the New Year's Eve performance in New York. Also, they kind of outgrown a lot of these award shows, if I'm going to be honest. If they look around and most of the artists in the room are just well known in Korea, then BTS shouldn't be at that award show. It doesn't quite help them anymore. But at that time, BTS did not attend. Now, TXT and GFriend are label mates with BTS, and they were definitely doing a lot at that time too. They had some pretty successful records and were active that year. And people were wondering why they were not listed in the award show lineup. It became this topic and this rumor that MBC was punishing the label because BTS wasn't attending. However, that theory doesn't make a lot of sense because then what did NBC do back when BTS wasn't as famous? Like then they just couldn't host an award show without BTS? Of course not. So I don't know if they were super salty about that, but I also understand and see why the fandom thinks that NBC would be. NBC did come out and address this and basically said that it's unfortunate, but the lineup was determined by the producer. And they didn't give a specific reason why TXT or GFriend were not casted, but just that it wasn't up to them to do it. But of course, with this controversy under their belt, it's easy to see why armies or netizens would be upset at this current drama for putting BTS's name on the death log, since they already think that MBC doesn't like Big Hit and doesn't like BTS. But these are all just conspiracies and alleged theories. What do you think? Are you upset and really sad about the death date that was aired on TV? And do you believe RM's reply to hate comments is relevant here? I think a lot of times the public tends to jump to conclusions very quickly, and it's never as bad as we tend to make it out to be. Let me know what you think. Make sure you check out my Patreon for more videos. Link down below. I think it says a lovely comment right here. Love you. Bye.